Hi. I hope everyone can hear me okay. Eyes to see 33, hello. Me and Taz, hello. And thank you for that. Yeah, it's been 1 year already. Insane. Ann-Katrin, hi. Right, so let's see. So, hi. Yeah, it's been 1 year already since I started my channel. Hi, Scientology up north. Thank you so much. Hi, Fakrami. Hi. So 1 year since I started my channel, which means it's been a little over a year since my interview with Kelly Copter came out, and I was public for the first time, speaking out against Scientology. Hello, Kate Vanderkolk. Hello, sitting on the fence. Thank you for that. That's very sweet. So yeah, I thought I would do a live Q&A in case anybody had questions. Yeah, I had actually thought out some topics to speak about before in case there weren't any questions right up off the bat, and I've completely forgotten them already. So yeah, that's my nerves. That's what that's like, living with my nerves. Hello, D Savage. Hi, nice to see you. I hope everyone's doing okay. I hope you all can hear me okay. I was gonna ask that first and I totally forgot. Can you all hear me okay? Somebody tell me in the chat if you can hear me okay. Hi, Fluffer. You can hear me. Okay, thank you so much. Catherine, great. Okay, all right, cool. Hello, Anna Banana. That's a cute name. Okay, great. Well, if you have any questions, pop them up. And if not, hello, Annette. Then I guess I will just ramble on with my rambling thoughts. And I hope you find that entertaining. All right, good. A question. Yay. Will we see you protesting again? Yes, quite soon. Next month in Denmark, I'll be traveling again to Copenhagen to meet up with Scientology up north and other friends, and we will be protesting again. And how did I feel after the last time protesting? I felt great after having protested, actually. Yeah, it's, I'm gonna see if I can try to describe it. If you've ever been like faced with a really big challenge and you got through it alive, that's kind of how I felt. And it kind of gives you like a little bit of a confidence boost, and you feel like you can, you could like, take on more challenges and it will be fine. And that feeling kind of goes away after a little while, but yeah, for a while there, I felt great and I had this huge confidence boost. Just in my own personal confidence, which was very nice. So thanks for that question. Let's see. I am so excited to come back down and to hang out with you again and everybody else that's going to be there. It's going to be awesome. Oh, and Ann-Katrin, you're going to be there? That's great. Definitely look forward to meeting you too. Cool. Hang on a second. Mirakelkulan. Hello, hi. I don't think I've ever seen you here before, but welcome. Okay, completely random topic, and if you're not a Swede, you might not know about this, but I was in the subway the other day and I saw, or like all this week, I've been seeing these new advertisements for a new, hi Lara, I saw these advertisements for a new drama series for a Swedish TV channel, and the drama series is called Knutby, Knutby Kristi Brud, which is, Knutby is the name of a small little town or village, and Kristi Brud is like bride of Christ. Anyways, a while back, there was I don't remember, like quite a number of years ago, there was a cult in Knutby. And there was this huge, like, scandal around it. And like, very, very bad. I don't want to use the word scandal, but I don't really know what else to use. And anyway, sorry, I'm very happy to see a friend of mine in the chat. Okay, so this was a tragic happening here in Sweden with this cult in Knutby, and there's now a drama series. So not a documentary. I'm pretty sure there have been documentaries about it. Now there's their TV channel here in Sweden is releasing a drama series. And when I saw that poster, I immediately had like two thoughts go through my mind. One of them was a line from a Pink song, which is, "I'm not here for your entertainment." And the other one was, I wonder how long it will be before Scientology has been dismantled, and it's been long enough that you make a drama series out of it or make a movie out of it. And I was also thought of this tweet that made the rounds on the internet a while back, where somebody was like, so, hey, archaeologists, how many years marks the timeline between archaeology and grave robbing? Which kind of a philosophical question, I guess. And yeah, it like got me thinking a whole lot about like how much time has to pass between something that is horrifying and tragic is over, and how much distance do you have to allow from that before it's, acceptable to be making movies or drama series about it. And I was trying to analyze how I would feel if I saw like a drama series about Scientology. And yeah, it really like woke up a lot of thoughts in my mind about like what would that be like, and how would that feel for survivors of Scientology to be watching people make drama or make shows off of it. I already know, I know Scientology already is the brunt of a lot of jokes, and don't get me wrong, I love them now. I did not like them so much when I was still a believer. But yeah. All right, I'm gonna pop this up. Laura, anything art exposing the shit would be great. Yeah, and also weird to watch. It would be so weird to watch. And I do agree that art is such a beautiful way to express anything. And yeah, I think you have a good point there. But for me, it would be very weird to watch, I think. This is also a good question. And who would have the authority to answer those questions? That is a very good question. And my gut impulse is to say the people that have survived it and would have the authority to say, like, is it too early, or is this the right time? But also, I mean, yeah. And that would obviously be different for everybody. Definitely. If you've seen the movie The Master with Philip Seymour Hoffman, which is a fictionalized version of the start of Scientology. Very good movie, very uncomfortable for me to watch it. But very good movie. But that's also from the 1950s and 60s, portraying that time. So there's at least some time difference there already. Would be the worst story ever. In a way it would. In a way it would, because it's not, none of the stories are fun, but all the stories do deserve to be heard. Okay. All right, let's see. I did that just this week, a satire TV show about Jehovah's Witness called Everybody Else Burns. It was funny, but also made me feel uncomfortable and easy. Yeah. I can imagine. It would be hard. Yeah, I think it. Yeah, I think also for me, I think I would rather watch a satire than a drama about it, because then the humor would alleviate some of the uncomfortable feelings. Lara says, I think you would definitely watch it and judge it hard. Yeah. Yep. And Laurel says, I already watched Cult Docs and Series and Crimes and Abuse and Serial Killer stuff, so I'd hope it'd be entertaining. Oh, geez. I'm not into the true crime at all. I don't watch almost, yeah. I kind of just stay away from all that. I tried listening to like a true crime podcast once, and I just got very, very uncomfortable. I prefer fantasy, but I have seen a lot of cult documentaries, and I think that's kind of part of the healing process of coming out of a cult. And I also, I read a lot about cults. Currently reading, which I started a long time ago and got halfway through, and I restarted it, Escaping Utopia. Growing Up in a Cult, Getting Out and Starting Over by Janja Lalich and Carla McLaren. And I think it's important for somebody coming out of a cult to go through this process of learning about cults. I think that's very healthy, although hard a lot of times. Hi, Irish Mart. Good to see you. Yeah. I wish that if there was a movie, it would be in the perspective of the victim and not the perpetrator. I agree. I agree. Definitely. And Fluffer says, I really enjoy you going through that book and the questions in there. Thank you. I'm glad to hear that. After I did the 4 videos based on the questions in that book, I actually stopped reading it and went on to read something else. But I've decided I'm going to do those 4 videos again in Swedish. So now I'm reading the book, and I'm going to try to read the book all the way through before I do the 4 videos. Because sometimes with my ADD, I need something to keep me on target, to kind of like have a goal with not just to read the book out, but to have to read it out in order to do something else. So I mean, the comment about Fluffer says, I made the comment about who would have the authority. I was thinking in regards to the time when it became archaeology. And I can't spell archaeology. What's the difference between grave robbing and archaeology? Yeah. I don't know who would have the authority to make that call, but I do think that the authority to make that call should firmly be within the culture of whatever the archaeology is doing. So I don't think, for example, that, I don't know, America or England would have the right to go digging about in Egypt. I think if anybody's going to be digging about in Egypt, it should be Egypt doing that. That's my viewpoint on that. But How many years does it need to pass? I don't know. Scientology Up North has a question. Do you feel speaking out loud about your experience has empowered you? Yes, I do. I will say it's not always easy. In fact, most of the time it's quite hard. And I can get very emotional speaking about it sometimes, and sometimes not at all. And I think that just depends on what kind of day I'm having, maybe, or if I've been thinking about it a lot lately, or I don't know. I don't know what. Sometimes I can talk about it like it's nothing, and then sometimes I get very emotional. Yeah, I do think it's empowering. It is empowering for me. Because I feel that it's important to inform people of what goes on in Scientology. And if I can add to that, then it feels good. And it also feels empowering to me because it's breaking their rules. They have rules about what you're allowed to say and not say. And by me saying whatever I want to say, I'm not abiding by their rules anymore. But there is like a fine line between, like if I did videos every day, or if I was watching consuming all of the ex-Scientology content on YouTube, I would not feel very good in general. So I don't watch a lot of other ex-Scientology content on YouTube. I try to watch when other people tell their stories, because I feel that everybody who wants to tell their story deserves to be heard. But those are also kind of the heaviest ones to take in and hold space for. And then sometimes I feel like it gets a bit much, and then I don't do videos for a while. As anybody who's followed me for the full year will know, sometimes there's a whole bunch in a few short weeks, and then like I've done like 5 since August, if even that. And that's because I'm always trying to listen to my emotions and see if that will be like, it will always take a toll to speak about it. But usually the empowerment overweighs that toll that it takes. But if I feel like that balance is off, then I don't participate in doing videos. But for the most part, definitely, absolutely, it feels very good to be able to speak about it. If for no other reason than to be breaking Scientology's rules, you know? All right, let's see. I think this is in regards to making a drama series or a movie about a cult or Scientology. And Katrine says, there must be someone on the inside who's writing the script or helping out. Your imagination probably isn't enough to imagine how you felt. Yeah. So if somebody who had never been in a cult was writing a drama series about being in a cult, I don't think that would be a very good series or movie. Probably not. But I mean, they might have consultants speaking about it, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Anders Johansson, hello. I will bring this up from Anna Banana. It's sad to see all the drama that is going on. And then I'm just going to pop it down again. I agree. And sorry. I can't. That's really all I can add to that. I agree. It's sad and frustrating, and I just try to remember that everybody has baggage. Every single person in the anti-Scientology community has some sort of baggage, even the never-ends, because I don't think anybody gets very long into life without having some sort of baggage. And we're all humans, for the most part, doing the best we can and hopefully trying to be good people. And unfortunately, there are people who are not always succeeding at being good people. And but arguments and disagreements, that is bound to happen. There are so many of us in this content creator community that there's going to be issues, basically. And that's I don't feel like I really have anything to add to that. Hello, Peter Anderson. I think you're new here. No, I think I've seen your name before, maybe. I don't remember. He is giving a suggestion to Fluffer regarding her comment. See the Ishtar Gate. I'm going to have to Google that myself because I don't know what that is. Irish Mart says it's simply human nature. I think we're referring to the upset that's going around sometimes. It doesn't distract nor prevent us from working to end abusive evil cults. 100% agreed. It's, we can keep doing the work. We can keep fighting Scientology and other cults despite everything that's going on. Mientaz says, hi, everyone. Good to see you too. Cool. There are no other questions at the moment, but if you have a question or a comment, if you could just add the question and comment up front, and then it will be easier to me in case more people drop in. Yeah. I'm not sure what this comment means, but let's pop it up and see if we can sort out. Fluffer says, there are issues. Okay, cake talk and water talk. Am I too old to know what that means? I've heard about people disagreeing is rife online. Yeah, people disagreeing online. I mean, it is everywhere. It is in every community. It is on everybody's Facebook. So yeah, keep the eye on the prize and end the cult. Totally agree. Yep. And a banana says, comments, I wonder if certain people start up drama for sake of drama. Maybe. I don't know. I think, in my opinion, that usually means that there's some need going unmet with that person. That person has an emotional need that isn't being met, and sometimes they don't know how to deal with that, or they don't know who to turn to deal with it, and then they lash out in other places because they don't know how to deal with it. Hi, Joe Bananas. Laura says there are TikTok communities about cake and water, and there's between cake and water. Is there a weird discussion going on between cake and water? I don't know. That's strange. They're like two. They're not even the same. They're not even like one's a food, like a food, and the other is a drink. Everybody say hi to Joe Bananas. She's great. Anyways, yeah. Oh, I also had another idea regarding the Escaping Utopia book. I will be doing the 4 quiz videos in Swedish as well. But then I was also thinking, as you can see, I've tagged a lot of pages here, and I was thinking maybe I'll do a video where I read some sections out of this book. Obviously, I'm not going to read the whole book out loud, and you guys can get it if you want to. But yeah, it would be kind of like a book review, but I'm really, really bad at summarizing. So I was thinking maybe I'll just read like choice sections out of the book. So if you think that would be interesting, let me know. And then my plan was to do Stephen Hassan's book next, but I actually think I might take a break from reading about cults and read something else instead in between. Eat more pizza now. Hi, good to see you. Thank you so much. Laura, you love it hearing people read and helpful stuff? Okay, good. Then I'll do it. Even if it's just for your sake, I will totally do it. Yeah, there's some good information in that book, of course, because it's Janja Lalich, right? And she's really good. And I mean, it's a tough read, though. Don't get me wrong. It's about children growing up in cults, and that's a tough read. But there's good information in there, and that is one of the main purposes of my channel, is to inform about cults. And if I can do that by reading out sections of a book, then that's how I will do that. I have a good suggestion if you would like to. I don't know if this is to me, but I would like to learn about trees. So you can send your suggestion to me as well. Yes, 1 year celebration. It's been a wild year, guys. It's been crazy. Laura says we can talk together about the Steve Hassan book if you want to and read stuff out of it. Yeah, we can absolutely do that. I have read it before. When I first woke up, I read Stephen Hassan's book. But now I have the second edition that has more in it than the first one. And I've heard it has more in it about Scientology specifically, because in the first one, he had to edit out a whole bunch of stuff about Scientology or the publishers wouldn't publish it. So I'm looking forward to reading the second one, and we can definitely talk about it. Actually, Laura, I would really like to speak with you as well. So I should send you an email and we should talk. Anna Banana agrees with Laura. That's great. We'll do it. We'll do it. Degraded daughter. Hi, good to see you. Coming in late, had to stop in and congratulate. Thank you so much. You've been going on for a long time, I think. So, I mean, kudos to you. Definitely. Here's a question from Scientology of North. Question: would you consider connecting with Laura and making a video together? I would definitely like to connect with Laura. I would like to do something offline first before we do a video together, if that's okay. But yeah, I would like to collaborate with Laura. We were at Flag at the same time, although we did not move in the same circles. And there are actually some very specific things that I would like to speak with Laura about. Yeah. So we should do that. I should send you an email and then we can chat. The Hidden Life of Trees by Peter Vollenben. I've heard about this book. I should read it. Yeah, I've heard about this book. Do you know, at my workplace, last September, they hired in an arborist, which is somebody who works with trees, to give us a guide and tell us about the different types of trees around the workplace. And that was the best hour of work time I've ever had. It was great. And I really liked hearing about all the different trees and stuff. I love nature, so it's totally my thing. And Miracle Kulan is asking, is it combating cult mind control? Yes, that's Stephen Hassan's book. Absolutely. And Laura says, ooh, I didn't know that. Yes, let's do it. Yes. I think that's in regards to me saying I wanted to speak with you. I do, absolutely. We'll do it. All right. Miracle Kulan is asking Laura FM if she still lives in Florida. I don't think she does. I think she lives in California now. Pretty sure. Yeah. All the videos are from California, so I think she lives there. Yeah. Okay, those are all the questions for now. Let me see if I had like a whole list of extra topics to fill dead time, but I only had them in my head. I didn't write them down, which is really silly of me to think that I would remember them, because I don't. Oh, I can tell you guys, I can show you guys something that I'm quite proud of. So some of you may know that I knit and crochet. And if you didn't know, now you know that I knit and crochet. But I haven't actually, like, I tend to start a lot of projects and never finish them. But I did actually finish a project this week, a couple days ago. Been a long time in the making, and I'm going to show you because I'm very proud of them, and I quite like them. These are my new mittens, and they are embroidered on the front. Aren't they pretty? They're so pretty, I haven't dared wear them yet. And now I don't know if I will dare wear them because they took too long to make. Hi, Yolanda. Good to see you. Oh, thanks, guys. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, they're so pretty. Yeah. Maybe someday. I mean, winter's coming to an end. We'll still have some winter time here. So I will work up the courage to wear the mittens I've made for myself. Congratulations on finishing the project. Yep. The struggle it is, I don't know what it is about just doing the last few steps is just so hard. And maybe that's the ADD. I don't know. But thank you guys all so much for the nice comments on my mittens. I know, right? They're too good to ruin by wearing. What am I going to do with them? I don't know. I might end up gifting them just so that I don't see if they get like messed up by being worn. Because I don't know if I can do that. Isn't it so cool that we freely get to create now? Absolutely. This is something that being in the Sea Org really suppressed any creativeness, which is so sad and very frustrating, because they also have they have a whole book on art, or Hubbard wrote a whole book on art, and aren't they like all about, you know, the celebrities who are all artists in some form or another? And yeah, there was absolutely zero way to be creative in the Sea Org, which was just horrible. Hi, Yolanda. Congrats on my first year. Thank you so much. You've been in the fight a long time. So kudos to you, because you've been really sticking it out. Okay, guys, give me another question. I'm gonna have some tea. Hang on. And Katrina says you deserve to use the mittens. I agree, but I don't know if I can. We'll see. I don't know if maybe this is like a childhood trauma thing. Sometimes I feel like I don't deserve nice things. But that's just silly, right? That's totally silly. All right, here's a question. What has been the highlight of your first year on YouTube? I would say the protest in Copenhagen that I did last summer. Definitely the highlight. So being able to connect with other people and being able to feel safe doing a protest, being able to protest, and also like all the support that I've gotten from watchers in the community has also been just amazing. Yeah, like the nice comments and encouragement is, although I can't always, I feel like I can't really accept them. I always feel like no, don't tell me I'm being strong or brave or whatever, because I don't usually feel it to be true. But the comments are definitely amazing, and yeah. But definitely the protest in Copenhagen was probably the highlight of the year, for sure. Scientology Hypno says, you face the beast head on. I did. I mean, if I were to protest at Flag, that would really be facing the very specific beast from my childhood. But I really don't feel like traveling all the way to the States to protest at Flag. For me, that would not be a good way to spend money. Fluffer says, I had this exact experience yesterday with Anne offering me art supplies. I worry I'll ruin them. I think it's trauma from being beaten. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Or berated for being clumsy and breaking stuff. Yeah. That first of all, I'm very sorry to hear that you had to go through that. And yeah, I think there's like some sort of trauma. I am clumsy and have broken stuff in the past, but I was never really berated for that. But most of the time it was like, if you have any money left over, that's going to Scientology. Why would you think that you deserve to have nice things? If you can afford nice things, then you're not giving enough money to Scientology. I think that kind of, I don't know, maybe. Yolanda wants to know, what was your best experience in Sweden? I don't know. I mean, I've lived here for 23 years now. 24? Almost 24 years. I mean, I built a whole life here. I have, chosen family here. I have my kid here. So everything, being my whole life here is my best experience in Sweden. Let's pop this up. Scientology Up North asks, do you believe Scientology has changed anything in regards to working conditions in the Sea Org after the recent effort to expose them? Is there anything that can bear more weight than LH policies? I think this is a very good question. And a complicated one. Right. So exposure helps. Exposure definitely helps, because Scientology is worried about two things: money and image. And yeah, money and image. I mean, they will also say that, the tech, blah, oh my God, saving mankind. Like everything that they say, to their members is not about money and image, but everything that they actually care about is money and image. And I think that the pressure from the outside world does sometimes have an effect and causes change, even if that change would be off policy. They have like Well, first of all, there's so many different policy letters, and a lot of them are contradictory. So they can just find some other obscure policy that would allow for that kind of change. Or David Miscavige will just be like, oh no, there was an extra semicolon in this text here, so we had to fix it and then just rewrite it how he thinks it should be. But so like real life examples of the pressure brought from the outside that has caused change is the fact that there's no more kid-ed-orgs, which is great that there are no more kid-ed-orgs, because growing up in a kid-ed-org was horrible. And I 0 stars, do not recommend. There are still children in Scientology, though. Just because there are no more kid-ed-orgs doesn't mean there aren't still children in Scientology. But at least there's not kid-ed-orgs. So that's one change. Another change is they stopped wearing the naval uniform because of the bad public relations that was causing. That's not a big change, but it's a change. And it's definitely a break in Sea Org policy, because the Sea Org policy has very clear policies of the different uniforms that you're allowed to wear. And when I remember, because I used to have the naval style uniforms when I was first in the Sea Org. I think for my first year and a half, I had the Class A uniform. That was the name of it. And I remember when we were going to switch to these weird hotel bellhop looking uniforms, the policies that they used to back up that change were all about public relations. And they said that they had done surveys on the general public all around Clearwater to find out what would be an acceptable uniform. I really don't think they did do that. But these are examples of where the outside pressure did cause change. However, I don't think those changes are always permanent. Obviously, the kid-ed-org, it's been shut down for a number of years now, and I don't think they'll ever reinstate a kid-ed-org because that would blow up. And at Flag for a while, I don't know if it still is, but for a while while I was there, they sent us home at a somewhat decent hour every night, because the fact that we were up all hours of the night and moving around between the buildings and stuff was causing bad relations with the general Clearwater public, being like, oh, they work all hours, they never go home, they never go to sleep. And so at Flag, they instated that you had to go home and go to bed, or at least go home. I think by quarter to midnight, everybody had to be off the base and in berthing. But sometimes that clashed, because I had many times where I was ordered to stay at work all night and told I wasn't allowed to secure, and I had to hide under desks when security came around checking if everybody had gone home. Because I wasn't allowed to go home, I had to work, but I also wasn't allowed to be caught by security for not going home. And I think that if they can get away with, having harsh conditions, they will. They will always get away with as much as they can get away with, in my opinion. But I do think that the effort to expose them will sometimes affect change. And sometimes it will affect the opposite of change. Like if there's so much protesting that nobody comes into the org anymore, and then their stats are down, and then they have to work extra hours, and then it gets really bad and everybody's on rice and beans. Sometimes it has to get really bad for somebody to say, you know what, enough is enough, I'm getting out of here. That's how I decided to leave. I couldn't take it anymore, because we added on to our regular schedule, which was insane. We had to do extra hours after everything. of scrubbing toilets and shit because our stats were down, and I just like, I can't take that anymore. And so sometimes, I mean, it can go both ways, and sometimes both ways are, either way is a good thing. I hope I answered that. I hope I answered that. Good. It's complicated. It's a complicated question, I think, and subject. All right. Degraded daughter, so dang proud of you. Protesting and sharing your experiences with the world is not easy work. It's not easy work. You know. Thank you for being a part of this community. Thank you yourself. And thanks for that. All right. Here's a question in Swedish. Tack för att du pratar om din historia. Thank you. Thanks for telling your story. The question is, have you done videos with AA, Ron, Natalie, or others, and do you want to? I have not done videos with Aaron or Natalie. I have done videos with a couple others, but not many. And do I want to? Yes and no. I do definitely want to speak to some people. I think Laura and I could collaborate and do some very interesting work together. And I don't really know how to answer this question because it's basically, there's a lot of emotions involved for me in collaborating with other people. And I kind of feel like I would like to get to know a person on a personal level or somewhat more before I do collaborations with them. And also, I have trouble with sticking to a schedule and stuff like that. And I kind of just want to, if I'm working on my own, I don't have to stick to a schedule. I can just do it when I feel like, okay, I feel like I can do this now, and then I can do it. Like even this live, when I scheduled it, automatically made me panic a little bit. Like, oh my God, am I going to be able to keep the schedule? What if I don't feel like doing it when it's time and stuff like that? So collaborating with someone else would be a bit more anxiety and stress for me. And I feel like speaking about Scientology kind of fills up the anxiety and stress level enough as it is. Yolanda says, out ethics and flunk was prohibited. All advice policies must be complied with unchanged. Yeah. Technically. Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to alter policy, but unless you're David Miscavige. And then you can say, oh, we found typos, and the march of the semicolons made all the tech confusing. And so we fixed it. And in the process of doing that, rewrites it, I guess. Every time I see in any live children go into an org, it hurts my heart and soul. Yeah. And Catherine says that it's very sad. If you're an adult, well, I feel sad for everybody walking into Scientology or that I see when I was protesting and that I see in other protests. I feel bad for every single person. They are all a victim of coercive control and indoctrination. But I feel most bad for the children because they don't have a choice. And yeah, at least adults, I want to say adults don't have a choice either, but I feel like by the time you reach adulthood, maybe, I don't know. I'm very conflicted on this. Maybe we'll get into it a little bit later. But I think anybody who has ever joined a cult is at some point a victim of that cult. And it does happen, of course, that people who have joined cults turn into the abusers within that cult. And some people are probably wired that way, that even if they didn't join the cult, they would become abusive in some other way. But I think like 95% of all Scientologists, or 90%, I don't know, they are also victims. But I think there's something extra sad when it's children, of course. And I think there's also something, there needs to be more accountability for parents bringing in children. I think it's hard to explain, and I think it's like, there's a lot of emotions involved in it. My mother is still in, and I don't think she joined Scientology or brought me into Scientology out of hate. I think she brought me into Scientology out of love. It just didn't turn out well. Okay. Laura FM says, good hiding from security so we could stay up late to get work done. Yeah. Yeah, that was insane. What was also insane was you could get in trouble from anybody in the Sea Org. You could get in trouble from your immediate senior, but you could also get in trouble from CMO or TC, other people, and security, and you always had to watch your back, because you could be in trouble with anybody. All right. Let's see. I'm way behind now. The great daughter says, we need a get together and protesting afterwards. Yeah. Well, if I ever do come to the States, which I don't really see that happening anytime soon, but if I ever do, I will definitely let you guys know, and we'll do protests, and then we'll have a get together, and it will be probably awesome. Joe Banana says, I think you and Laura would be perfect for a chat together for sure. Yeah, I think we should make that happen. For sure. All right, Scientology says, I never see anyone happy going in, even when they come out, they look relieved at most. Yeah, I kind of agree. I don't really have I was a public for a long time, for I think almost 15 years, but I was never really an active public because I never finished my ethics handling after leaving the Sea organization, so I was a degraded being. But I did once go to an IAS fundraising event, and it was supposed to be like a 2-hour thing. They were going to show video, and then they were going to do a speech, and then they had some big name, maybe IAS Medal Award winner, I don't remember, was going to come and talk, and then that was supposed to be it. And I was there for 7 hours because they weren't letting people leave until they made a certain amount of money. And at one point, the crowd was starting to kind of riot and be like, you have to let us go. And they're like, oh, don't be out ethics. And but then somebody said hey, all our rudes are out, which is basically your rudimentary needs, so food and sleep and water. And then they brought in a buffet full of food, and everybody ate, and most of the people were happy again. And I was still I'm starting to get claustrophobic being in this room. And I finally got out, and I never again after that went to an event ever again. I was so relieved getting out of that room. Yeah. But then you always see all these success videos where people are like, oh my God, I feel so good. I blew so much charge. I fixed everything on my whole track. And you're like, what does that even mean? Anyways. Helicopter, hello. Congrats, Bianca, 1 year on YouTube. And for those of you who don't know, my first appearance on YouTube was on Kelly's channel, where I did an interview. And she edited it beautifully. And yeah, that was kind of the start of it. Scientology up north, do you think everyone who decides to leave Scientology deserves forgiveness despite of what they've done in the name of the cult? No, I don't. I don't think being a victim removes accountability for crimes you have committed. I don't think being a victim of abuse excuses abusing others. You can be a victim and an abuser at the same time. Both things can be true. So, I mean, only cults think in black and white, right? So both these things can be true at the same time. You can be a victim of Scientology, and you can also have been abusing people within Scientology at the same time. I don't think everybody deserves forgiveness just for leaving. I think everybody has a right to work towards earning forgiveness if they feel like they would like that. I think we should give them the opportunity to work for earning that forgiveness by taking accountability for what they've done, not trying to excuse it. Obviously, they will also have horrific stories to tell of their own abuse, because I don't think anybody really gets through Scientology without being abused, period. But no, you don't automatically get forgiveness just because you left. You got to earn it, and one way to start earning it is to take accountability for what you did, and take accountability to, like, if you know of victims, people that you have victimized in Scientology, and you know they're out, then you take accountability directly to them as well. And you also tell, of course, the FBI or the police or whatever the correct instance of authority would be, to tell everything you did and everything you've seen and everything that goes on, but you also speak to the people that you personally victimized, in my opinion. But I do think everybody deserves the chance to work towards forgiveness, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. Anna Casillas, just popping in to tell you congratulations. Thank you so much. Thank you for your willingness to share your stories here. Thank you, and thank you for listening. There would be no point in us telling our stories if you guys weren't there listening. So thank you for that. All right, let's see what Laura is saying. I struggle with it so much, the love of our parents and their intentions and all the neglect and mistakes. Yeah, there's so many emotions there. And it's very hard to feel, to feel those like clashing emotions at the same time, because it's very complicated, I guess. Joe Banana says, would be great if you made it over to the UK. I would love to come to the UK or somewhere in England. I actually have on my bucket list, since I was a little child in the cadet org, I've always had this idea that I would really like to see Hadrian's Wall. And I don't think there's any Scientology org around there to protest, but if I was going to come to the UK, I would really like to do that. I'd like to see Hadrian's Wall. And if we can, squeeze in a protest at the same time, why not? Let's see this. Anne-Catherine, being in Church Scientology must feel like going to the dentist times 100. Unpleasant and costs a lot of money. Yeah. Degraded daughter says, I understand that pain deeply. Many of our parents thought they were changing the world for the better. It's incredibly saddening and bittersweet. Yeah, I think that's also why it's a complicated feeling. Because I think my mother, she did traffic me from Sweden to the United States And she did lead me to be raised in a cult. I don't think she did it out of hate, though. I think she did it out of love, thinking I would have a better childhood. And I think she did it out of her purpose to help the world. And it's very, very, very sad that she chose to ignore all the signs of me not doing well. Yeah. When I became a parent, when I became a parent, I was still a Scientologist when my child was born. But I decided very early on, even though I was still a Scientologist and I still believed in Scientology, I wasn't active because I was a degraded being, which I also believed that I was. But I did believe Scientology had all the answers and all the correct tech and was the only hope for mankind. But I also believed that my daughter had to choose Scientology herself. I decided very early on I was not going to introduce her to Scientology until she was 18. I was not going to push Scientology on her. I was not going to use Scientology methods. I would let her pick Scientology because I felt like the issue for me growing up, and remember, I was still a believing Scientologist at the time. I felt it was unfair that I didn't get to discover Scientology. I was just raised in it, everybody assuming I had chosen it when I hadn't. And I think, yeah, I feel like the parents that brought their children into Scientology robbed them of the choice, which they shouldn't have. And I don't think it's fair to do that. All right, I'm gonna have a little bit of my herbal tea here. Degrade our, we can cry together and be out ethics. We can totally do that. Can totally do that. That makes me think of the, I'm just gonna say hi to Ganja Girl. Hi Ganja Girl, thank you so much. I caught some of Fluffer and Silty Bird live streaming while they were doing art while talking about the tone scale. And I feel like the tone scale is something I also want to speak about coming up, but also like the fact that you don't allow children to grow up with access to their emotions because they're somewhere on the tone scale and some emotions aren't allowed. You kind of like, you're robbing that person of access to their emotions is robbing them of being able to develop properly. And that's just also very not cool. I don't know what to say. It's not cool. It's not cool. Don't tell people certain emotions are bad. All emotions are valid, and some are uncomfortable to be experiencing, but they're telling you something. And if what they're telling you is this is an uncomfortable situation, then you should be allowed to experience the emotion telling you that so that you can remove yourself from the situation, I guess, is what I was trying to, I don't remember. The Great Dog says, good for you as a mother for allowing your child to have a choice. I did the same, though I never really believed it was probably a lot easier. So, yeah. Thanks for saying that. Yeah. I mean, it just felt like the right thing to do. And I've always been very big on the right thing to do, which often sometimes got me in trouble in the Sea Org because for many things in the Sea Org, I didn't think were the right thing to do, even if they were on policy. But when I feel like something is the right thing to do, and then I usually stick to it. So there you go. And CC666 missade jag mellom nu. So this is Ja, du missar Mellon nu. Du får gå och sätta igång tvn då. Mello, or Melodifestivalen, is the big happening on Swedish TV right now. And yeah, and I had originally timed this live to start now at 8 o'clock, and somebody texted me and said, dude, do you know that that's when this thing happens? And I was like, oh, I should have remembered that, but I didn't, because I don't watch it unless my kid makes me. She likes watching it, so I watch it with her, but she's not here tonight, so I totally forgot. Degrade daughter. Oh, damn it. Is that a Scientology thing? Thinking of the right thing to do? I do that too. I don't think it's a Scientology thing. I don't think it's a Scientology thing. I don't think it's a religious thing. Trying to do, feeling like something is the right thing to do and then trying to do that, especially when it flies in the face of what others are telling you to do. I think that's a very individual moral thing, and like it has to do with your values and what you believe as a person and what your values are as a person. I don't think that has anything to do with Scientology at all, or any other religion, to be honest. I don't think we get our morals and our values from religion. I think we get them from within ourselves. And I think that, you know, everybody can have a good moral compass, regardless of what religion or not religion they adhere to. Good. Yeah. I think it is just us having an internal moral compass. Joe Bananas. So this is a way to get out of watching it. This is totally a way to get out of watching it. But I mean, my kid might make me watch the replay, and then I won't have gotten out of it in the end anyways. But I don't have to watch it right now. I can be here instead. Scientology Hypno says, it's the Swedish people's favorite. Yes, they're choosing their Eurovision representative after 5 big arena shows. Yeah, this is what it is. So if you guys don't know what Eurovision is, it's this song contest among a whole bunch of European countries and Australia, and I think a few more countries that also technically aren't part of Europe, but I can't remember right now. And in Sweden, the way the Swedish people pick who will be going to Eurovision to represent Sweden is they have these 5 competitions of song contests, and there's like 2 winners each week, and then in the last week those winners compete against all each other, and it's called Melodifestivalen, which is Melody Festival, but we just say Mello. Joe Bananas, you like Eurovision? I mostly like the stage stuff, you know, like the awesome stage choreography and effects and costumes. Very, very seldom have I enjoyed the music. Although I will say Finland's Hard Rock Hallelujah was brilliant. And if you haven't heard that, then you should totally check it out. Just, I don't know, YouTube Finland Hard Rock Hallelujah, and you'll find it. It's very cool. Ann-Katrin, rather be here, never watch Mello. Good. Then I'm not the only one Swede misbehaving. Hi, Rika. Very nice to see you here. Thanks for joining. Scientology Hypno loves... Sorry, I popped up the wrong one. I love Eurovision too. But I love Bianca. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thanks. I usually just forget about Eurovision unless I'm reminded. I don't mind. I like watching the as I said, the stage stuff though. The music's not really mine. CC666 says, this is better than Melodifestivalen. And thank you so much. That's very, very, very high praise that I probably did not deserve. All right, people are trying to explain what Eurovision is, and that's good that you guys do that, because I'm not really. I don't know how to explain it. When I came to Sweden, and the first year it was going to be on, I was in shock about this. I do think it's fun that there's this like thing that everybody, you know, kind of gets around and gets all excited about like the same thing. And that's pretty awesome to see so many people, like millions of people getting involved in one thing. Just doesn't really happen to be my thing. All right. Oh, we got some more people popping in. I'm gonna butcher this name, but hi to you, Max Middokgal. I'm so sorry for butchering that, but thanks so much. Let's see, Kate Vanderkolm. Yeah, as the Dutch first time so set we got disqualified. Yeah, that was. There were a lot of headlines about the Dutch singer that was disqualified last year, and it was very sad. I think that was my kid's favorite, unless I'm misremembering. Yeah, it's it's such a big thing, and it has so many emotions connected to it, and then, you know, everything gets really blown up really, really big. And then I don't think this is the first time somebody was disqualified, but when he was disqualified, it was like such a shock. Like, oh my God, they can do that? That's, yeah. Let's see, Joe Bananas says, it's much more political now, though. I do think it is political. I think it's very political. Now, I didn't watch. I haven't like seen. I've only watched them since my kid got involved and started watching them, and so I haven't seen earlier. But I do think it's very political. Right. Yes, Lordy. That's what they were called, Lordy. Hard Rock Hallelujah. I loved that song. I thought it was so much fun. All right. Can I call you Match? I hope that's okay. I'm going to call you Match. I usually find out about the results the next day on my Facebook feed. Germans can be quite emotional about the Eurovision results. Yeah, very emotional. And usually the headline, in my opinion, from my recollection, is usually like the wrong song was picked, or, you know, the wrong song won. Every year, doesn't matter who won. There's always at least one newspaper with the headline, "Oh no, it was the wrong person won." Yeah, it gets very emotional. I love that we got onto Eurovision. Do you mean in the chat, or do you mean like the country where you live got into Eurovision? I don't know, but yeah, this is a subject apparently that I know very little about, but we are talking about it. I didn't, you know, so where is it being held this year? Was it last year that, what's her name, Loreen won, the Swedish girl, Loreen? Did she win last year, or was that the year before? I don't remember. I didn't like her song, and I was so annoyed when she won. I did like her Euphoria song when she won. That was a long time ago, though. But I didn't like her latest song, and yeah. Let's see. Ireland did great with Jedard Irish. Ireland's song was really very interesting and impressive. I really liked it as well. Yeah, and the stagecraft is awesome. Definitely. There's so much art that goes into it, you know, and I really appreciate that. Irishman, winning the Eurovision is both good and bad. Yes, it is good and bad. Bad is it's expensive to host the following year. After we won 3 times. You guys won 3 times in a row? When was that? We were delighted to start losing before the country went back. Yeah. So I don't remember when it was, but one time Sweden won, they like built a whole new arena. Because when a country wins, they have to host it the next year. And sometimes that's awesome because you get a lot of tourists and that brings in a lot of money, but it's also very expensive to host Eurovision. And yeah, I guess it's a good thing and a bad thing. Yep. Santos Vietno says in Samuel's hometown, Basel. Is that where it's being held this year? I'm trying to remember who won. Basel, yeah. And Christina's. Oh, then I remember who won. It was they were so. Oh, I really love their song. Yeah, they were like on a disc. They were dancing on this like disc that was spinning. I don't remember what the song's called, but they were dancing like on this spinning disc. I think it was a really good song. I liked it. So that's cool. At least they're not here in Sweden again, because yeah, it costs a lot of money to host it. All right. Hi, Scientology Banana. Hi, Kirby's mom, Minion Shorts. Hi, nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. Joe Banana says, I loved when we hosted for the Ukraine. Yeah. And I really liked the Ukraine song that year that they won as well. It was a good song. I think it's like when I like the song and the song wins, then I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good. There's like, it's maybe not that political, but it's totally political. I don't know. But yeah, obviously the Ukraine couldn't host when they had won. So it was very good that you guys could help out. Okay. I hope that was the end of the Eurovision discussion because I really don't know what to say on the subject. Methinks I'd rather join Sciento than watch Eurovision. Sorry, not sorry. I mean, I cannot agree because Sciento is every day for the rest of your billion of years, and Eurovision is just once a year. So I don't think I can agree with that. I would rather watch Eurovision than Sciento. But yeah, if there's, like I said, it's not really my thing. But I will watch it with my kid because I like doing anything that she will invite me to. Corn Freak, hello, Corn Freak. I look very happy. Thank you so much. Thanks. All right. There are more people popping in and saying hello to each other. That's great. I can take a break and drink some tea. All right, guys. Are there any more questions or comments? Any other questions for me? Comments for me? Yeah, 1 year. It's been a crazy year. I do want to do more videos, like more frequently. Want to do more videos. I actually was thinking. I've actually been like thinking a little bit more lately about like why do I do the YouTube and what the purpose of my channel is. And I don't think I have like a very clear purpose. And I also think it's good to keep it open a little bit because I change, like what I feel about things change and so on. But I do feel like I feel like I have a list of things I would like to talk about. And I would like to have a little bit more frequency on posting. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say big plans or ideas. It's just like little things. Currently I'm thinking about talking about the 8 dynamics. and I don't really know what I'm going to say about it other than explain it. But I do want to try to, like, because something I do want to do is kind of deconstruct Scientology, I guess, but also like my own thoughts and emotions and things. I kind of want to sort them out and like really think through some of the things that I was raised believing, and not really for. Sometimes people are looking for what was good and what was bad, what they got out of something. Like I don't know, but in my opinion, even though something was horrible, we might be able to learn something from it. And what can I learn by going over like basic Scientology things and looking at them from a different perspective, from the perspective of somebody who's no longer indoctrinated. What, like, you know, how do I view it now, and what have I learned since I last held that belief, is I think kind of what I'm thinking about. Yeah. So like, for example, just Scientology Up North recently did some videos with a list of questions, the life history form. And that got me thinking a little bit. I've spoken about the life history form at one point, but I didn't have it then, and I didn't like read it or anything. And I printed it off because it's on the internet. You guys can find it. I printed it off and I read all the questions to my partner last night. And it's pretty shocking. I'm not shocked because I knew exactly what was coming. I grew up with it, right? But the difference between the times when I filled out the life history form when I was in, and my viewpoint of the questions in there, and compared to now, is like so different. And I think that there might be something healthy about looking at what I used to believe in as a Scientologist and just seeing them now that I'm no longer indoctrinated in Scientology, and kind of just trying to break them down. And then also it will be explaining it to anybody who watches, and then maybe there will be some more understanding, you know, because I you know, if you're going to protest or something, it might be good to know a little bit about what you're facing, or maybe you're just curious. Yes. CC666 says, I want to know what your music taste is now. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you. It's very varied. I would say I like some songs from almost every genre. And I couldn't tell you what makes me feel like one song is good and one song is bad. I couldn't even define that. It's just some songs I'm like, ooh, I like it. And some songs I'm like, I don't like it. And sometimes it's even like the same artist. I don't know. It would be impossible to explain my music taste. Just wouldn't work. Okay, let's see. Anne-Catherine, looking forward to a chat with you and Laura. Okay, good. I will make sure that happens soonish. In the somewhat near future. I think it would get. Cornflake says, we enjoy hearing your stories. Well, thank you so much. And thank you for listening to them. I mentioned it earlier, there would be no point for us in telling our stories unless people were listening to them. So thank you. You want to explain and process? Yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to explain, and I also want to process it for myself. And I also want, hopefully, maybe, I don't know, other people in Scientology that are starting to question. It could be good if they happen to stumble across my tiny little YouTube channel and they get to have a different, like, hear a different perspective on something that they believe in, maybe that will help. Maybe. I don't know. And I would also like to create like somewhat of a safe space for ex-Scientologists to like have help in processing processing what they've been through. Jebina says, you should do book club with Nora at some point. Oh, I saw that she's reading The Four Agreements. I have not read that book, but I'm very curious about it now. Yeah, very curious. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll have to agree on a book to read if we were going to do a book club together. And then also I would have, like deadlines, which might help me actually get through the book, but it might also just stress me out. So I don't know. Scientology Up North says so invasive. Yeah, this is the life history form. It's very invasive, and it's also completely bananas. Like, I was reading it yesterday, and it's so non sequitur. Like, there was a question about drugs, and then there was another question about drugs, and then a third question about drugs, and then there was the next question after that was just not a completely different subject, and then it went back to being questions about drugs, and I was like, where did this non sequitur thing come from? It was so weird. Kate Vanderkolm, that'd be interesting to watch that. Well, thank you so much. That gives me hope. Question. You might have talked about this before. How does Scientology work in such a secularized country, I assume? I don't think I have spoken about this before. And I think there's some very different varying things at play. So Sweden is generally considered a secularized country, and I would say in a large part it probably is, but I don't think it's as secularized as we Swedes like to think that it is, or that we are. We also have other cults here and Scientology, and there's still a lot of Swedish traditions that are very closely linked to Christianity. So I don't know that we actually are that, like, we're not fully secular. We're not that I think it's would be possible even to be that. But I would say, like, Scientology is not thriving in Sweden. Not a lot. The Stockholm organization is tiny. Like, it's not prominent. You can't find it unless you know where to look. I know in Malmö there's a big one. But I don't think Scientology is growing in Sweden, but I do know it was really big in the 80s. And I don't know why it was so popular in the 80s and why it died out so kind of quickly, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. But there's no C organization here in Sweden. And I think that a lot of Swedes who get really deep into Scientology here in Sweden, they do end up moving to Denmark, for example, or to the United States. And I think also there's this little thing about Sweden, I don't know, some Swedes, Sweden in general, have for a long time kind of idolized America. And maybe because it was like an American thing, it got popular. I don't know. It's weird. I think it's weird. She has another 4 or 5 books next in line. So this is Nora's book club. Okay, I didn't know that she already had the next 4 or 5 planned. I should check out which ones. Yeah, I don't read these kind of books that fast though, because I have a rule about not reading them in the evenings. So in the evenings, that's for the books that I love. that's for the fantasy and the science fiction that I enjoy. And these books I only read on my way to and from work, and it's not that far, and sometimes I don't get a seat on the train, and then I don't read at all. So it takes me quite a while to get through the books, this type of book. But I am interested. I will have to find out what books she has on the list. All right, let's see. Ann-Kathrin, another area Scientologists need to hear without being judged. Yes, you explain your story well. Thank you so much. I totally agree with this. And I think that if I had found somewhere where the thoughts and belief systems and rules and stuff like that of Scientology were explained and looked at from different angles without judgment, that probably would have helped me get out faster. I don't think I do my explaining without judgment, but I try to at least not be mean about it. And I don't know. But I'm hoping to kind of create like some sort of, even if I stop doing YouTube videos, I will keep those videos up where I just talk about like different things about Scientology and try to see them from different perspectives and see like, that way you can think about them without just thinking about them as a Scientologist. I think that could be good. They really wanted us to say no to drugs, but yes to Xeno. They really did. Were you also one of those drug-free marshals? I remember when they had this program with the drug-free marshals, and it was really new. The first thing they did was went out to the cadet orgs and got all the cadets to sign the like drug-free marshal thing and wear the t-shirts and take photos so that they would have children for the promotion of that. Yeah, I did that. Ann-Kathrin, is it considered a church or religion in Sweden? So Sweden has a it's a little bit hard to explain because they don't recognize religions, but they do. So I kind of looked into this a little while back, and there's like, I emailed with a couple people that should be able to answer this question. And I was like, is Scientology recognized as a religion in Sweden? And the responses I got were basically like, there's actually no way to legally recognize any group as a religion. But what they do is recognize what they call trossamfund. So a belief association, I guess. And in order to be recognized as this, all you have to do is prove that there's an association of members that hold the same belief, and you have to lay out the rules of what it means to be a member, and there needs to be someone who is in charge of making sure that there are that they follow the rules of any förening in Swedish, like an association. So there are like certain rules that any association in Sweden have to follow, and like they need to have a board that are elected, and they need to have like a yearly meeting where the members are allowed to elect a new board and so on. And Scientology has been recognized in Sweden as a trossamfund, as a belief association. And I actually got a copy of the documents of when that happened, which was March 13th, 2000. So L. Ron Hubbard's birthday, the year 2000. And my grandmother is listed as the head of the board of that association in the document that they provided that led to the decision to recognize them as a belief association, I guess is the translation of it. And I also asked the person I was emailing with, how can that decision be revoked? And the answer I got was kind of off the cuff. In Swedish, we would say "goddag yxskaft," basically just kind of like a non-answer. She said, like, well, the period of time to dispute this decision is way past, because the decision is like 24 years old. So, and she didn't say anything else. The person who I was emailing with didn't say anything else about, like, okay, well, how come is it possible to be revoked now anyways, and so on. And I kind of got upset at that answer, and I emailed her back and I said, that they abuse children, right? And then she answered with, you should go to the police. And yeah, that's not very helpful for me, because I was abused in the United States. I wasn't abused here in Sweden. And also my abuse happened a long time ago. So I kind of got stuck there. I don't really know what to do about it. But I haven't given up that idea at the back of my mind that we could actually, like, it might be possible to have their recognition as a belief system to be revoked. I just don't know how to get there, if that makes sense. All right, Match. You understand their emotional attachment to Scientology and get through it differently. Yeah, I think it's helpful to, that's why I think it's, okay. I think it would be helpful because I've been there and I understand it. Yeah. And at least I hope it would be helpful. If I get, someone telling me this helped me wake up, then I will be very happy. YouTube watcher. Question, if it's not too personal, since you moved so young and living in the SO, how do you find or recreate home, especially since you moved to the other side of the world? It took a long time, for sure. For a very long number of years, I was dependent on other people, in particular Scientologists, for my living. So I rented rooms with other Scientologists, or I lived with boyfriends. So it took a very, very long time for me to be able to get my own apartment where my name was on the contract, and also to feel like it was my home. And I have that now, and I hold on to it very, very, very dearly. Maybe a bit too hard. I don't know. Yeah, it took time, and it took patience, and also, like, it's a process, because, like, when I first, like, had my own room in an apartment with another Scientologist, I went totally goth with all the home decor was, like, totally black and goth, and it's really not my style, but that was also very much not allowed in the Sea Org, so I kind of went to that extreme first, and then I've bounced around between a lot of different styles, and I still don't, like, have my own, like, oh, this is my home style. I'm still trying things out all the time, trying to, like, make something my home. So it takes time, for sure. And it took a long time to build, like, a social network and build a life after leaving the Sea Org, but also moving to the other side of the world. Although I do think that gave me the advantage, because I moved to Sweden, so I was speaking Swedish, and I don't know the Scientology words in Swedish. So I wasn't using the Scientology language almost never. And I think that was actually pretty healthy. All right. The good drug-free marshal now. They didn't ask you to be a drug-free marshal? They probably knew you were going to do drugs. Well, I think I may not have upheld my pledge to be drug-free for the rest of my life. Probably not. CC666. In Sweden, the Scientology front group is called Drogfri. Yeah. They toured schools in the 90s before STV doxed it. So SVT is Swedish television. Yeah, Drogfri. But they still have some, I'm pretty sure they still have some front group about drugs, and they do have Narconon here in Sweden, in Enslöv. And that Narconon is state funded, or state, not fully funded, but like, I think partially funded by the state, which is also insane. And that is also something I would like to figure out if something can be done about that. Matt. So it would have to be proven they're not acting in accordance with the law for them to lose their status as a, yeah, it would have to be proven like very well as well, because there's this kind of like a, there's this kind of thing in Swedish bureaucratic that if you've been granted something, it's very hard to remove the grants. So yeah, it would have to be proven, but it would have to be proven probably like a couple times over before it would actually be removed or revoked. It would probably take some work. Right, here's a Swedish comment. Anders Johansson says, jag tror att en trossamfund måste underkasta sig svenska demokratiska värderingar, om inte kan deras status dras in. So basically he's saying that the belief association has to also incorporate the Swedish ideas of or values of democracy. There are like stated democracy values for Sweden. And if they don't include that, then the status can be revoked. However, I'm pretty sure Scientologists will be like, oh, we're totally for human rights, you know? And then it would be trying to prove them wrong. And it would need to be like well documented. And that would probably also need to be in like near in time. So I would need, for that to happen in Sweden, I think we would need someone leaving Scientology like within the last year or two, and also having with them a whole bunch of evidence in order for us to be able to revoke that status. Laura FM says, that is so hilarious in Gotham. I know, right? Totally not my style, but I went for it hard. I also had like posters of Kurt Cobain. He's not goth, but Nirvana was also very much not allowed in the cadet org, so I did that as well. This is in a reply to Anders Johansson, trossamfund har mängder av skydd innan det granskas. Yeah, basically saying once they've been given the status of this belief association, there are so many protections in place for them. So it would be hard to, it would be tough to try and get that revoked. Hi, Holy Rogue. Very good to see you. Nice to see you. Hi. I saw you on Fluffer's channel. It looked like you guys were having a very nice conversation. I couldn't stay. I was only in for a couple minutes. Nice to see you. Oh, you also love Kurt? Kurt was great. Yeah, I agree. All right, guys. It's been an hour 44. I think I would like to wrap up. I'm getting kind of tired. But if you have any more questions or comments, I'll give you a minute to think about it. It was pretty fun. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I really loved my Paint and Ponder episodes with Fluffer. I had so much fun doing them. And I also cried a whole bunch, but in a good way. All right. I'm gonna have a sip of tea, and if there are no more questions within a couple minutes, then I'm gonna log off. Crying, but in a good way, is healing. That is, right? Let's see. Hello, toxin. We should definitely toxin. Let's do it. Go wear your gloves. I will. You know what? I will give it an honest try. Thank you. Mirakelkulan, tack. Tack själv för att du var här och tittade på. Thank you for being here and taking part of it. Thanks so much. Have a lovely night. We will also speak soon, for sure. Congratulations again. Thank you for sharing or being here. It was important. Thank you so much for saying that. Thanks. You do a lot of work too. I think that's great. Thanks so much. All right. People are saying good night and good evening and saying hi to each other. And great. It might be too warm in March. But you never know. It could actually be that cold that I need mittens in March as well. For sure. All right, guys, thanks so much for listening in. Thanks for holding space, listening to me babble and ramble and lose my train of thought and so on. Thanks for being here. And I wish you all a lovely day, evening, whatever you have, and a good Sunday tomorrow. Yeah. Bye-bye.